What's up, guys? It's Alex.
It's Quinn.
It's Iconic Comic. We are back, and we are ready to review Spider-Man Far From Home. This is the spoiler review, so if you haven't seen our non-spoiler, go check that out, and then come on back here. So, spoiler talk. We got to talk about the villain first. The way they did the villain, because when we bring up Spider-Man, we always talk about the villains, because it's, you know, Spider-Man and Batman have the villains in Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
So they did the villains so well, and spoiler alert, it's all a sham.
Yeah, it's all a bunch of bull.
It's all a bunch of bull. So the act that Quentin Beck is putting on, he was saying that there was a rip in the space-time when, you know, they snapped a bunch of times in Endgame, and so now he's there on Earth 616, which, you throw around words like that, I mean, sounds pretty believable.
Right.
You know, when somebody comes in like that. He looked so cool. Like, the costume was cool. Everything
they made
about
that
him.
costume look cool.
They really did make it look super cool. And
it was almost like an Iron Man helmet, too.
yeah,
like,
well, there was somebody that said, "Oh, it's like Iron Man and Thor mixed."
It kind of is. Like, and the way Jake Gyllenhaal plays it, there's a part in the movie where I go, "Oh, maybe he isn't BSing him. Like, he seems like a genuinely good guy or whatever," and that's just good acting by Jake Gyllenhaal. But it gets to this point where, so Peter gets the glasses that Tony wore, and he probably wore them in Homecoming too. Just Tony's glasses, and they're like an AI, and they can control like defense, you know, satellites and get information. They're Tony Stark glasses, exactly what they are, but they're very powerful in the wrong hands, especially. And Peter's just kind of like, "I'm a stupid kid. You're a hero. I'm gonna give them to you." And the way in that scene that he's kind of refusing it at first, again, I'm like, well, I don't know, maybe he's a good guy. Like, maybe they're really taking Mysterio a different direction this time.
Yeah, but like what the glasses can do, and we realized what they could do was they're on a class field trip and stuff, and he accidentally orders a drone strike on his classmate, and 2 or 3 drones come down, and they go to actually blow up the bus that he's on.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man, you know, he takes care of the drones and stuff like that. But anyway, we know what the glasses can do. So then when he gives the glasses to Quentin Beck, you know, he was saying that Tony knew that he wasn't going to be the next Iron Man, but he might find someone that is.
Right.
That's why he gave them to Quentin Beck. So when he got him, it was really cool how it all just went away. It was almost like the Reality Stone.
Everything that wasn't real just blew away. It like just turned into pixels and then went away. And then, like, that's the point where I was like, God, he's a good actor, because as soon as he takes the glasses off and like was like, that wasn't so hard or whatever, something like that, it was like that was a completely different person than when he was Mysterio.
Yeah, because when
his whole demeanor changed.
When he was fighting crime and killing the elementals and stuff like that, when he would talk to Peter,
talk to him like Tony almost.
It would be like a mentor.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey kid, you know,
yeah.
just being that guy.
And that's exactly, like, right after Tony's death, like, Peter really wanted somebody like that. And that's probably why he gave the glasses to him so easily, because he was in a vulnerable place.
Yeah.
After that. Basically a father figure had passed away. But then we figure out that Beck had worked for Stark Industries. He designed at least a version of Barf from Civil War, and then Tony kind of probably worked with it a little bit and, you know, made it even better. But like he was, he named his thing Barf. He was pissed off about that. Ended up firing him because he was unstable, as he said. Like, no kidding.
Yeah.
And then they show like the guy from Iron Man 1.
Jeez.
Tony Stark built this in a cave with a box of scraps. Like, that's he's a kid from Christmas Story.
Yeah.
He's Ralphie. Was it the same actor? Did they use the same actor?
I think so.
But they brought him back, and like he got fired because he was working obviously for the bad guys, probably. But just all this crap, and that you get all these again coming back to bite. Tony creates his own demons, and it's still like ripple effect is affecting everybody else. So I'm wondering how long that ripple effect's going to last.
I don't know. So now he has control of the glasses, which he also has control of the drones. The drones have these projectors on them that can project any image that they want, much like, in
Barf.
Civil War and Barf. If you don't remember what that is, it was that AI, that therapeutic experiment thing that Tony did at MIT. So he can make these drones project the elementals and him fighting them. And what was really cool is that they could project a suit onto him.
Oh yeah,
So,
he like walked into it, but he also like wore. It looked like the stuff they wear,
like a motion capture suit.
Yeah, like what
Yeah.
Frickin' Ruffalo wears when he's Hulk, or Brolin's Thanos. It's like the same stuff. Because in the books, he was a movie special effects guy. I think this is a better explanation because it's like, how does a movie special effects guy get that good at special effects? No, he was a scientist, genius, innovator that designed a tech like this, but now he's using it for a different purpose.
Right.
So, Peter, and actually, MJ kind of helps Peter figure it out what's going on.
Oh yeah.
Because she picked up like a piece of the drone, and it took me till the second viewing to realize how that piece of the drone got knocked off. Because when the fire elemental was there, and Ned and Betty were on the Ferris wheel, and they need to be saved, Peter webs towards the Ferris wheel, and it just like it looked like it hit a force field, and he's like, "What the hell was that?" And it took me to the second view. I'm like, "Oh, it was the drones in cloak mode."
Yeah.
So they kind of dropped hints that it was fake throughout, and then finally, the piece of the drone that broke off, MJ takes it out or whatever, and like it projects, and you see a Mysterio going around and stuff. Like, he's not even there. Like, Beck is like miles away, and he's just talking through a little microphone, which is insane.
Yeah, it was crazy how they did that, and it makes so much sense. Though I bought it. I mean, it. And then, so let's step back.
Yeah,
let's talk about
him for a while.
Yeah, we'll get back to that at the end. So,
opening. Yeah, let's go like the opening of the movie, not the Mysterio part of it, which was the cold opening.
Yeah.
But you get what I was kind of wanting from this movie for a little bit. I want to see, and you got a lot of it in Endgame, but post-snap reality, how are people reacting to it? But this really wasn't post-snap, this was post-blip, is what they called it, which is when they came back.
Yeah.
And I think it's awesome that they showed that the first video, they're doing the whole special news thing they do in the school, the student news, and they showed this video of a basketball game, and people are just floating away, and people are screaming. It was kind of scary. I was like, oh my God.
But then what was funny is that, the very next one, they show a basketball game that's showing on, or that's showing, and then the band is like coming back, and like they run into each other.
Because wherever you dusted, when you blipped, you came back in that spot. So like that's why they were on Titan. There's people who dusted and Wakanda and all that. Like you just came back immediately. A lot of people were like, imagine if you were a pilot and you were in a plane.
I didn't even think about that.
And that plane's not there no more. And it's like, you just fall.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, I'm sure the blip caused a lot of terrible things just as much as the snap did. Now, in the end, the blip was better than the snap because we got most everybody back. But there's still probably some things. Or, like, imagine
Being on a cruise ship.
Or a woman who was like in labor. Ooh.
What, her baby?
Like, what if the baby was like halfway out?
I didn't think about
Like,
that.
there's so much stuff. Anyway, they talk about the blip and all that cool stuff, and and then they kind of, you know, Peter goes over his plan. Like, the whole movie's kind of surrounded by this plan of getting with MJ, or at least, you know, talking to her, because they're going on a trip to Europe. And then we go to this kind of charity fundraiser for the homeless that were caused by the blip. I mean, imagine if everybody in a house got blipped eventually after the chaos is over, after a couple years. All right, someone's going to buy this house and whatever. And even Aunt May said when she blipped back, which so now we know confirmed, she was dusted too. So when she blipped back into her apartment, there were other people living there. And they thought, like, the wife thought she was a mistress or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that would... Now I'm just thinking about all the stuff that could
all the
happen.
scenarios.
But anyway, yeah, where did it go at? Because there's so much that I want to talk about. I can't...
Well, that's when we got
straighten it out.
Happy first, was there. And
Right.
it was kind of like, hey, Nick Fury's want to talk to you about some superhero stuff. Which I thought I both believed... I liked it, but I was also like, I don't know. When Nick Fury kept calling, he was ghosting him. Like, I was like, I feel like definitely if the Spider-Man that was in Homecoming wouldn't have ghosted him, he would have picked up that phone immediately. I think Peter's just kind of in this. I think he's still a little traumatized about everything that happened.
I would be too if you were.
He doesn't want to jump right back in the game.
If you were on an alien planet fighting a mad titan,
and then dust it out of existence.
I would want some time off too.
Yeah,
You know?
and that's what he wanted. He wanted to, take a vacation.
Go on vacation, exactly. So then they go to Europe, and the trip keeps getting rerouted.
Mm-hmm.
Then we don't know until this moment. I think I'm messing that up though.
What?
Did we know that Nick Fury was rerouting them? Or were they getting rerouted before?
I'm not sure because
Nick Fury
remember
came on screen?
Fury said that like he wanted to bring him there, and then he was there.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there was some behind the scenes stuff to get him exactly where he wanted him. We kind of skipped over though Peter Tingle.
The
Spider Sense.
Yeah, the Spider Sense.
He's starting to learn because he didn't really have it in Homecoming. I think it's something.
Well, he had it in Civil War.
There was just
he
a little
didn't know
glimpse
what
of
it was.
Little glimpse of it. But I think what I like about this Spider-Man is he's not an expert right away. Mm-hmm. He's learning how to use his powers still. I love the Tobey Maguire movies, but like he kind of like he had a little bit of training, like tally ho, like he jumps off the roof.
Guess, yeah.
But for the most part, it went from he's terrible at web swinging and being Spider-Man, and they cut to a montage of him in his new suit, like just going through the city like it's nothing. So I'm glad that this Spider-Man has taken some steps to, they're slowly giving you his powers, and he's slowly learning how to use them.
Right. And then when we eventually saw Nick Fury. That was hilarious. We saw that in the trailer, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he shot Ned in the neck with a dart. And basically, here are the shoes to fill. Are you going to fill them?
Mm-hmm.
To Spider-Man. And he didn't want to.
No.
He didn't want to at all.
I would say that, again, going back to what we were saying before, I think he's just kind of like, I need a break from being Spider-Man for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Spider-Man no more.
Oh, God.
But, that's when we, the whole Mysterio thing happens. We meet him. Then, towards the end of the movie, obviously, Peter finds out what's going on. Like, Fury brought him in. Fury's buying this BS from Mysterio. And then the whole kind of floodgates open up after that projector gets found.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's like kind of, well, definitely don't want to skip over. He confronts Beck the first time with what he knows. Actually, I would say Mysterio confronted him, and he takes him on like a Arkham Asylum Scarecrow type.
That's what I was thinking too, which
thing.
was so cool.
It was amazing. That might be the best scene in the movie,
that
honestly.
was so effing sweet. I mean, the way that he did that illusion, I mean, and it felt real to Spider-Man.
There were parts of the movie where I'm like, is this real? Is this not real? Like,
Yeah,
what's real?
Because shit was dropping and, things were quote-unquote trying to kill him, but who knows if they were real or not.
Yeah.
So...
Then, like, he, shoots, like, Nick Fury shoots him, and it's like, oh, it's over. And nope, all he wanted to do was figure out who Peter told, so who he had to kill. And then the illusion, came back, and it's like, God, like, it kind of made you as an audience member question everything. Once you figured out it was an illusion, everything forward was like, I don't know if this is real or not.
Well, it's like when he saw Happy again, when Peter Parker saw Happy, it's like, wait, is that really you? Tell me something that only you would know.
You bought an adult movie in Germany. But then, the scene in the jet with
that was amazing.
Happy and Peter. Basically, Peter is, he's pissed because he kind of lets it all. He's been holding a lot in. He just lets it all out. He's like, I lost Tony. I just gave the most powerful, defense AI over to a bad guy. My friends are about to get killed. It's all my fault. I screwed up, and I miss him. And it's like, oh.
And then Happy just he took on the Uncle Ben role, and just
what are you gonna do about it? Like, are you gonna sit here and mope because we're hovering above a tulip field? Like.
And then when he finally decided to stand up and like, all right, let's get the shit done. And then he goes over to the computer.
Was that a callback to Civil War? Because he's like, what are you going to do? He stands up. I'm going to kick his ass. I mean, it's a common phrase. I
don't think it was.
Maybe reaching a little bit.
You're trying to fish for that one.
I need a suit. And he Happy press the button, and like this whole lab opens up in the back for him to design his own suit, which I like. He's making his own suit now. Spider-Man is very, very smart, but I've always been like, ever since Tobey Maguire, even the comics, like, is he also a master seamstress, like that can like just make the most amazing suits out of his bare hands? So it's like Tony's still helping him a little bit, but it's not like a crutch. I felt like there were some times where he could have been like a crutch, like it's like, oh, I can just fall back on Tony. Well, you can't now.
Here are the tools.
Right, you do with them.
And then he's making his suit, and then he does the
hologram.
And then Happy saw that, and his beam of pride went through him.
He's like, "You are the next Iron Man." Not like really the next Iron Man, but Tony made the right decision. Like, you're the hero we need. And it's like, what? Nothing. You work on the suit. I'll get the music. Boom. Back in Black comes on. Oh, I love Led Zeppelin. But then you get it's just like Iron Man 1. You get a little suit building montage. It's making you feel. But I like, he's saying, give me the taser web. All right, and he like breaks it apart. All right, let's magnify the voltage by this much, and let me have manual control of the detonation. And like he's like just designing everything. And then you get the, just like the arc reactor, the spider.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome. Does Tom Holland really know what shoes he's filling right now?
I don't think he really is filling those shoes yet. Like, I say that, I don't know. I don't know who's going to lead I don't think we're going to have an Avengers for a hot minute.
No, I don't think so either.
I mean, I think they're right now. They're a name with no team right now. I think there's a lot of pieces that we got to put back together because right now we have Falcon as Captain America. We have Winter Soldier.
No. We have Captain America.
So Falcon is now Captain America. Fine. Winter Soldier. That's still a like. Is he allowed? I mean, he's completely fine now. There's nothing wrong up here. You couldn't mind control him if you wanted to.
He probably retired to the country or something.
I doubt it. I think Bucky's gonna fight. Like,
well, yeah, he's going to.
What would Steve want? Like,
he's going to, but right now there's no war. I'm just saying.
But you got him. But like, is he even allowed to be on the Avengers right now? How does the public view him still?
Yeah,
like that's
true.
a PR nightmare.
And then, the Fantastic
you have
Four.
Wanda.
You don't know.
Wanda, I forgot about. I'd be fine with Wanda in charge. She's a badass. She could take charge with both hands. Like, and I don't think Captain Marvel. I think she's going to be like a consultant to the Avengers. Yeah. Because she's got all kinds of other garbage to deal with.
Well, she said that there are a bunch of other planets that don't have Avengers.
They don't have you guys. Yeah, I like that line. So I don't know if Tom Holland is going to be, the leader of the Avengers at some point. I don't feel like he is. I don't feel like that's Spider-Man's thing. I feel like he can take charge, but Spider-Man really isn't like Captain America. Like he's not gonna give a Captain America speech.
Yeah,
he's the guy to go, that's a cool speech. Like he's that guy. So we get into the climax of the movie now. Everything's coming together. They're sending messages to Fury, kind of like coded, like, "Hey, don't trust this dude." And this is Beck's big finale to like basically make him. He wants to be an Avenger almost and fool everybody. He's like, "Here's an Avenger level threat that I'm going to make, and I'm going to destroy it, and they're going to realize I'm the guy they need. I'm the guy to look up to, and they're going to listen to my ideas." That's all he wanted. He wanted people to listen to him, but nobody listens to the smartest guy in the room. They listen if you have capes and spandex on.
Yeah.
Which, to an extent, he's not completely wrong. Like,
yeah. And that fight was really cool. So when Spider-Man finally gets his suit, just the way he wants it, he has got
the web
gliders, which was awesome from the comics. And then, and it was in Homecoming too.
Right. But basically his whole plan is to get inside of the illusion and then basically start taking out drones. There's a lot of drones, though. So he took down the illusion for a bit. They got something... Or did they get it back up and running?
No.
He said to not do it.
Yeah, he said, kill the illusion, and then there's hundreds of drones around. Oh my god,
my mind's blown right now. Like there's an after credit scene. We'll get into that in a little bit, but they set up the after credit scene in that scene. Now that I go back and listen to it, so when he's like, no, he told them to kill the illusion, and he's like, they will see what I want them to see. That's when his plan started. Because I'm like, okay, but like he never started another illusion really. Only when he was trying to trick Spider-Man at the end. So, battle, taking out drones, cool stuff. Battle. Finally, he gets up into where Beck is.
It's like a skywalk.
And he punches him and he goes flying. And then Beck sets up an illusion, and everything goes super silent. He just closes his eyes. And I like the expressive eyes. I think it's dope. He just closes his eyes, and then it was this silent, and then all of a sudden loud, silent scene where it kept going from illusion to real, and he is just, with his spider sense, finding the drones and taking them out. And that might be the most badass we've seen Spider-Man up to this point.
Can we talk about his Iron Man landing, though?
Oh.
He landed the same. Like, instead of this, it was this, but still. The knees were the same.
I mean,
arm back.
Why not?
I know. It was awesome. It was awesome.
And then Beck had one last, he was on the ground, and it's like, whatever, I can't believe you've done this. And then all of a sudden you hear a gun go off, and Peter, like...
I thought he caught a bullet.
That's what I thought, too. I'd have been like... It definitely would have been super cool, but I don't know if Spider-Man can catch bullets. So,
yeah.
So then Beck actually dies. Like, for real. But he tricked him one last time, and we're going to get to that. Because then it goes back to Fury and Happy, and it's like, he'll call you this time.
Yeah.
Which is funny. It's like, well, he better. Like, or it's your ass. And then he does the... with the turnaround, like Fury tried to scare Happy. And then it's just kind of everything goes back to normal. You know, we're back home. MJ and Peter like had a moment together. They kissed
3 times.
Well, the first 2 were like those awkward kisses.
Yeah.
You know, they get back home, and you know, the classic. You know, I'm gonna find MJ, and this is the first time we've seen this Spider-Man swing through the city.
True.
Because in Homecoming he didn't at all. He was in the suburbs of New York, of Queens, and then Civil War was in an airport, and he really wasn't in Manhattan in Infinity War. He was kind of in just that little kind of where Doctor Strange is, kind of like that village area. So we haven't seen him with skyscrapers yet, and it felt very almost Tobey Maguire swinging and running on the buildings just to get to MJ. So you know, the let's go for a swing, you know, like that they do in every movie. But I thought it was funny because it's like she's the first MJ to be like, "F this is terrible." Like, this is so scary.
Well, then he pulls out his phone while he's swinging, and she texts back, "Don't text and swing." I'm like, oh. So then we're
after credit scene.
After credit scene,
dude. So there's a lot of things in this one.
So the after credit scene is, you know, they land,
picks right back up.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man jumps on this light post, and then breaking news. I'm like, here we go.
Here we go.
Like, here comes, you know, back in the swing of things.
Oh my God. And it's basically like we have video of Quentin Beck, aka Mysterio's death, and we like in shocking circumstances now, and it cuts to the like apparently there was a drone or something that Peter didn't know about next to the fake dead Mysterio. So not the one that was trying to shoot him there, but the one that was laying on the ground. And he like recorded all this audio that Peter had said and stuff, and made this like new video where it's basically Peter saying like, you know, I'm gonna take control, execute everyone now, and like all this other stuff. And you know, Beck's like, no, what are you doing? Like all this stuff, and Spider-Man's trying to kill me. And
then he drops the.
We have an exclusive video. Well, it's like this video is offered, was, you know, brought up by the controversial news site, thedailybugle.net. Boom! J.K. Simmons is back.
He's a menace.
He's a menace. J.K. Simmons back as J.J. Like,
awesome.
It was so good.
So awesome. But then he drops.
And here's the big one.
So Quentin Beck grabs the camera. He's like, Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker. And then like
Spider-Man's like, what the hell? Like, he was like, what the hell?
Eyes got real wide.
It was like Deadpool. Like,
yeah, so now
I don't know.
Now it's like,
how do you do that?
Like, we just got JJ back.
Now they've done that in the comics before, and for the most part, he's gotten away from it because most people just didn't believe it, because they were like, Peter Parker, like, really? That kid? Right. That kid's Spider-Man. Like, yeah, okay, whatever.
But it's like, how would they know that name?
Right. Well, you know? I mean, now, like, anybody who does know him, or now anybody who is a person who can hurt his family, knows who he is. That's the whole reason he wears the mask.
Which, calling back to, you know, Spider-Man 1, what are you doing?
I don't know.
Are you playing the piano? Going back to, you know, Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. It's like, you know, you're in danger. Like, you know who I am now.
Mm-hmm.
Like with Aunt May and the Green Goblin, it's like, first we attack his heart.
Yeah.
You know, so now we're going to get that.
Yeah.
So now it's scary. It's like,
yeah, I don't know where
I don't know what to do.
And then the second after credit scene, even more mind blowing, was like, what? So you get Fury and Hill in you know, their shield car, and they're driving, and then all of a sudden they're Skrulls.
Shape shift back into the Skrulls, and
it's the same ones from Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so Skrulls aren't bad.
No, apparently they're working for S.H.I.E.L.D. or whatever's left of S.H.I.E.L.D. But that was a really smart move because, for the most part, up to that point, I was like, how is Fury being, like, how is Mysterio tricking Fury?
The whole movie, the way that Nick Fury was acting...
And I was like, why is he buying this shit?
Like, it wasn't the same Fury. Like, when he was talking to Happy at the end, it's like, well, he better call me. That whole dialogue right there, it was just off. Like, there was something
makes sense.
off. Yeah.
But it's like, was that the same Fury that snapped? Or did the Fury that snapped actually show up at Tony's funeral and then go take a vacation because he needed it? Because he's been dusted for 5 years? Like, I don't know. But now it just opens up this whole can of worms with the Skrulls again. Because I almost thought that we probably won't see the Skrulls anymore. Because they're going back home or wherever. Or they're going to find a planet to live on, right?
Maybe they have already.
But I'm saying now they're definitely an integral part of this universe.
But like, where to go from there?
I don't know, because isn't the next movie supposed to be the Black Widow prequel? Which I'll be there day one, but now I'm like, I want to know what happens next.
It's like, are there Skrulls in that?
Ooh, depending on when it takes place, maybe. God, because it's just like the Mysterio thing. It's like, who and who isn't one? And that's what the fun of the Skrulls is. Is we don't know.
And then the multiverse?
Well,
but it's not really a thing with Quentin Beck, it wasn't.
I don't know, but even though he made that up, I'm not putting that possibility out. You know what I mean?
It still could possibly be a thing.
And oh my god, and I know you're like it'd be so stupid, you would hate it, but
I would hate it so much.
Could you imagine, like, they do a Spider-Verse movie live action, and then like out of nowhere you think you're the only Spider-Man, and Tom Holland turns into Tobey Maguire with the mask off, and he's older, just like in Spider-Verse cartoon. He's like an older Spider-Man, like grizzled, like he's probably like in his 40s now, and then you hear, you ain't seen nothing yet, and he turns to the other side and it's Andrew Garfield.
What if one of those Spider-Men like grew old enough to be like 2099?
Or they just do 2099. They do Miguel O'Hara.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were gonna say like grow old enough to be like Batman Beyond, like Bruce Wayne, like he's really old. You get this super old Toby, like. But the possibilities are like they can literally do whatever they want right now, and they can fall back on the snap and be like, "That's why." It's like, well, how did the snap? That's why, and we'd have to buy it. Like we'd be like, okay,
like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Because of that one line from Rocket where it's like a. Thanos snapped his fingers and there was a surge of energy like no one's ever seen before that could create a rip in the space-time continuum, that could create mutants, that could cause people that were in upper orbit to get powers.
Fantastic Four?
I don't know. Like, there's so much that could happen. Like
they could do Fantastic Four. And they could do
who bought the building? Like, because you see what used to be Avengers Tower. Now there's like a big hole in it, like in the middle where there's like a platform, but he swings through it because you see Grand Central Station there, right? With the little little monument to the Protectors of New York or whatever thing there. So they could, it could be the Baxter Building. Could be, I don't know, Trask Industries, Von Doom Industries. Yeah. I'm trying to think of like all of them. Like it could be crap. I'm trying to think.
Fisk.
It could totally be Fisk. But now you're like,
I don't know.
Cross streams here.
I don't know.
All right, we could go on.
There's a lot of
We're
possibilities.
getting into podcast territory. Let's close this thing.
All right.
out.
Let us know what you guys thought about Spider-Man Far From Home in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys like,
comment,
share,
subscribe,
so that you don't miss anything from this channel. Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.